of God, I just want to show you how important this is. This is not good. And a friend of God, Amaso, I didn't so. I didn't so 17, 18 years. 16, 17, 18. I can't go, if I'm married, I can't go, he is not here. If I'm married, I can't come and again. Imamale grandma was visiting from Syria. What is Syria and Nigeria? Aka grandma le aka oh, she is doing her regular push-up. She doing her regular push-up. Ha. She can go, grandma push-up. Alhamdulillah. Grandma will exercise. Yeah, grandma be alasar salala. Din no ma alasar salo tolong. How to read? Wallahi, how to read? Push up like today. I told her push up. So another day, I got grandma. Alhamdulillah. Now my don't push up. Push up. Another man push up. When I come out to come, I go wallahi. They gonna come. Man, man, Julie Takusan. How much Julie? What now? This one, I bring more Julie. Buy a living. It's a lost generation. Nyonyo ta alahira ngay ñew ak sa xaftaan ak say baax nak bu ko dugg aljana ak say kala sa mbaxana ñu rek wax japp fi tan tek la ñela yu nak won anywhere yalla nako ak lo suuf nek ni nak lo jëlal sumay bon jox ko jël du baaxam jox ma because bu defon lu ko waron konon man duma nek in trouble today. It's a very serious case. Now, we know that it's serious, and it's a matter of must we have to do it.
Sadionole Muslimon nave na beste video. So la tindi muso sumbutu dingo yole tulisikuwa because ponto kama kwa di grosso dolanya. So tindi mo ni ngata scroll kana finally don't killing another ko ala fale ko sanya ate Christian moral kami ko ibuki ikatara perkora church buka ko no yeah apa ate wala
lesbian bro
yeah apa ate wala
No, seriously. Yeah. It's not. They will not struggle. They will not be.
No choice.
Yeah. So we have to be very careful.
You know,
we are here, and November for comfort, seeking comfort. Nidia, but kamu mana tu orang sorry. Hani, nggak ada cara dah boleh saya. No, but it's still it's affordable. You eat chalo and maintain your deen is better than eating meat and living on leather furniture and driving one of the most expensive cars, and you have no Islam. Not only you, but your children let you buy. In the middle, so what is the solution? It is entirely our efforts have to come together. You know, I cannot give up. Make sure, because this is a very serious thing. It's not easy. Make sure everybody know about it. Do your best and make sure everybody, no one, bushkomu, no child left behind. This is the real one.
But he did left them behind.
He left a lot behind, I know. Especially the black ones. But what I'm saying is, before that, what we need to do is to give generously and establish these institutions. Nalmal fansum jama soto Allah fansum denkira alballa dino tamandila damen anen kala dinni mol karandi je atitade ndolkan ba fara ko ha we're talking about Kakuling West Seattle, Kakuling North Seattle, but even one is not here, that should not be the case today.
Somalia on le jama on kebal ni bindi on fam bele ka
e ka karanje
ni ade jeni karo dol be la jam kebal fam li nyande ta la jama on
ba no la tinno wonte de kebal la man ala ke nyaato nka kanomo fu ala ko to tije dunia la ben kono kini mo kini atol kono jam including to myself nawum kono wala ni nyaata jama. We furnish our homes, top to bottom. We furnish our cars. We drive in the best cars. We spend our money on ourselves. But when it comes to Allah, we give excuses and yalabahna, alametiatale, no. Be very careful. Hadith ko salasatun yuhibbuhumullahu hubban wa salasatun yabghaduhumullahu budda. Mosa sifa saba ala kan baake kan ya jaw mosa ba bije ala kon ya jaw kan beta mo folo ala kanu ya jaw kanu ya bala wala moti mu ya ko abota anala na fulo tema ala ko mon be sire ngako sadadan la nana o mon nata mon be solaren kodola pour ka famma ko o ka islamo ma ko kom bani waye mon fobi mo be yeba ko tadila barate yo leta ala la koda makamma ataka ay kan ne woni ma ko o ay kodo ke project ko ako ala e wo kanu la kanu yaala ko yaala daf ko bëgg boo xam ne kenn xam fos si ku yàlla gën a bañ bu gën a bon si bañ al ganiyu zanu nit ku mun am alal bare na ndax tuuti na nga mun a def dara si dara ba pare nga bañ ne doo ko def yàlla yow daf la bañ boo xam ne bañul dara lu passé bañal moom la bañ bañal moom la bañ nga ñëw nekk nga am yàlla bugg a ñëw Amérique ut visa jot nga commencé julli loolu daan julli loolu daan wér ne ngay commencé wér sëriñ fu mu nekk nga daw koppi moo rujutu la mu ñëwal ba divorcé no seriously yeah salaamu musalaati yaa bole yaa kuma fi mu faa wulu fi kulóol si sécurité yo embassy mu ndaa léegi nag am na ko dem ñoom sa koor ba gars yi di ma ko wax ñoom moom dañ ko ne boo demee sa koor ba rek immigration koor ba dangaa demee sa kanam jot nga toj leen ko tes voilà léegi nag sa waa ji dox ba sa koor ba taxaw looyam ba jot rek buñ ko ooyee mu taxaw looyam bi taxaw rek kërëb kërëb rek mu dugal loxoom ba sa biir nekk poos ba rek nen bi rek sa kanam yi jooj ba rek ko tas sa digal ñoo ko boo ko defee daal waxuma green card passeport jooj bu la dinaay dafa dee nobody can deny. We're going to try to cover this tomorrow inshallah at Badra's house inshallah then George ba dinaay case ba pare ne ko amaa nen bu nga toj fii is 6 months in the jail. waaw lu ne ñu génnee ko de yàlla may ñu visa waaye yàlla bu ma mayee visa ma eggee Amérique dinaa nekk lii dinaa nekk la ne yàlla nee na bisimilah ñu toog mu la xoole yàlla jox la visa alhamdulillah tere ko million ñu mel ni yow yaa ko ñaan yaa ngi promesse yàlla nga pàcc ticket jot amuloo ticket commencé waat fu sëriñ nekk nga dem ñaar kilo karab yàlla may ma mu njëgi ticket yàlla yombal mun naa am sa yaay benn nag bu mu yore mu jaay ko wala kër bu mu yore kankan bu mu yore mu jaay nga jënd ticket nga dugg plane bi di xaar géej ga yàlla mun naa jël plane ba ne ko curux sa biir géej ga rey la fa yàlla defu ko yàlla nga ne fàtte la xool rek nga dugg si plane bi naaw ba egg ni yow waaw dégg naa ñaari xosu la nekk sa biir plane ba kaay àggal ñu yow rek si guddi dégg naa frère am maa ngaa nelaw ah tey boy du ma kii nema mu ne ko jaf mu ne ko ah fo ni toll naa soxla bari kaa di jaf taanoo xanaa ñun bu ko amoon de mu ne ko boy jógal xoolal si suuf jaati xoolal si suuf mu ne ko fii moom xanaa ñu mu ko méngóol de ba ne new fi ah xoolal ma tàkk si ñëw amuloo social security amuloo ID amuloo liggéey anglais bu baax sax déggul ngay ñaan xanaa nga dem pàcc la seet nga dem apply social security fekk fenn nga ne dangaa dem ubbi account et jiite ko na business ñàkk xam na big deal done all that stuff yow meen ñu jox la social security yàlla mënoon naa gis tooga loolu ñu dinaa ya yeneen sax nga toog ko sa visa jeex amuloo nga use turi nit yàlla indil la nit ku nga bokkul dara mu jël nga jël turam liggéeyee ko bu dara ni yow man suma foos liggéey moo di laa loolu foofu moo di Cissé maa ngi def moo di Cissé jus doomu xaraam boobu moo di dafa xaw sax lifin ba leneen stoola de jaay dara bi rek mu ni ma ne dugg comme ngeen gis box Everest you know what I mean yàlla mun naa gis ko fa kaay ñëw ne fu dara gis na yu bu yàlla def fàttali la xool rek nga nekk fa mu jox la ID nga nekk fa dem fenn sax dem takk jigéen comme waaye ne waaj bu mel pour green card you know all those but so many things yàlla mun naa jox mu ngi ne fa ngay dem ne tabax fa kala bu nekk ne New York defi noonu nga toxu si Seattle wala Atlanta wala Alaska you know what I mean North Carolina you know now you want to buy a house apartments no longer in your living yeah you know and I want to invest like you can come nice house in a nice area. You were driving a little Mazda, Toyota. You know, now you want to go up. You get it now. They say, guys, cruising with a, you know, 4-wheel drive. Navigator, Lexus. I'm just more Mercedes Benz, I know. Come on, telling my life. You know what I mean? Alhamdulillah. Jigéen tabaarakalla dugg si suuf yu garaaw jinda oore dem Dubai ñëw jinda oore kii garaaw rangale dof yi ba sa suuf mbase ñi 300 from London ñawaa muñ ko de 500 ñawaa muñ ko buñ sol ngente bi duñ ko solaat teew farati waaw góor itam ne daw na mbase yoo xam ne tabaarakalla soo daal yoo xam ne crocodile léeg-léeg you know what I mean? It's serious. Your whole life's changed now. Your whole life changed. La fate. The first day, you think it is your own nyaka. You think it is your own intellect. No karunwa inama utitu wa ala. I inherited it. Karun yalla ne ko xat suuf ba dugal ko fa ba ila yow mat qiyaam mu ngi dugal te du àgg si suuf. Karun qawm Musa. Sani Musa la ko fa baga. He become rebellious, ungrateful. Nga faale ñu la sëñ bi ndaw si $20 a month times 4, that's $80, right? Times 10, that's what? 800. 800 plus 2 months, that's that. Then there is around 225 a week. Like you make it like $2,000, $3,000 a month now. You big man. You went to school, you have a degree in nursing, in this and that and that. I'm not telling you from the mouth now. You know what I mean? Time and a half. But if you want to boy, you're not boy. It is let's clock this way. I'm boy, come on, put the magazine. I only put like, 80 hours, 90 hours, like that. Don't put the mag this way. You know what I mean? Big shot, big money. You forgot when you come from baby, you don't even have a penny. Who gave you all this money? Who allowed you to have all that in a country that you did not even come here with a letter? Then I have time to say, wax you for something. Buy one, get one, Walmart one. You know what I'm saying? You had a 25 back to Yala. From the thousands you made. Back to Yala to support the poor and needy and to support Dawah and the institutions of Islam. To ensure that the word of La ilaha illallah did not forget even when we feel again. Ngapani. Nobody. Why am I going to why? Look with Seattle. You know what I mean? Like the yeah, like the and sometimes we even question the credibility of the people who run it simply because we don't want to give. Simply we don't want to give. Wallahi. قالنا لا إن لم ينتهي لنسفعا بالناس ناصية كاذبة خاطئة فليكن ناديا سنة الزمان كلا لا تطيعوا. Wallahi, if we don't stop, stop and be grateful to Yahweh, لنسفعا بالناصية, we will grab him by his forehead. By his forehead in the day of judgment. Khichako, church kosabita. Yes. The man who spoke here, Ahmad Awal, beautifully he explained about this miracle of Quran and science. He will grab you by your forehead in the day of judgment. There's a knowledge there. Later, 1,400 plus years ago after that, science discovered that the part of the brain that is responsible of lying is actually here. Yes. It's located right here in the front. Deny and reject is right here. Subhanallah. Because of that, you deny friend law, and all that. You have to hold that part. We did this in New York. The last 3 days, even we did this. And anywhere I go, it's the same situation. yow nekk is up to you. Islam is witnessing unprecedented moment right now. The future of Islam ñong ko tabax tey du ëllëg tey yow nag up to you nga bokk fa wala ko fa bokk nga bokk fa yàlla dina samp islam ñii dinañ samp seen school bokkuloo fa ñii dinañ samp seen school ñu duñ ko samp de yàlla na nañ ko sampal one day dina jot Seattle will have that inshallah. It's up to you. You add your name or don't add your name. But if you add your name, it's better because you are adding your name to history. Mr. Dominic, you do feel the new maga. The electricity is named for the weather. Kuyaka yala na. Bu dee yàlla moo tekkee sax boobu sa biir géej ga naan subhanallah abaat yow mu bugg a New York mu bugg a def dara ndeg moom samp juba or samp institution dama wax foofu New York mu am benn Pakistani bu jóg amul liggéey and mu bind turam si kayit ne dina joxe $1,000 because I was asking for $1,000 each. And when I gave that speech there ñu def si guddi bi ñu julli around 2 o'clock tahajjud by 3 o'clock it was over 200 people in the masjid. And guys raised up over $140,000 in within 20 minutes. Mu bi ne turam mu ne ma Cheikh mu bi ne turam mu ne ma aw ma liggéey but dama jox yàlla lu tax ba mu war maa jox liggéey. Wow. What tabulu adoku tabulai ayato sa 1,000. Ako lafta dalil sababu le dina alala mu yatin danya ta do ko dina. Ni ko do bebulu mo kilim fala jam musu babulu dimo babulu do fala jam mustabulu dimo babulu baden duma. Ibadi la mun na de man mu hasa bills. And the same bu fekkee binduloo sa tur si liste gaay please don't write your name ne yàlla rek tax fii ba 6 months la fii ba 4 months la wallahi yàlla dina dimbale dañ ko fay jàngal ñu ngi ma wax susu waaye nañ leen wax dëgg te ñu koo fay waaw bu ebi dem jënda or jënda ay brodé yu es fonish nega dem si Gambia ak yooyu yeneen di joxe asaka yeneen di joxe zakat dafa setal xoli nit from all that yuy tax ba doo mun a jaamu yàlla dañ ko war a jaamu yomal qiyaama xaalis bu ngeen war a jox yàlla te jox leen ko déglu leen lu yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wax ñu tëjee suñu waxtaan foofu bu fekkee waxtu am na ñu dellu si ko ci mu ne man kaana lahu dahabun aw fidda wa lam yu'ti haqqaha kaana yawma alqiyamati suffidat is'afun min an-nar yawma alqiyama mu ne képp ku yàlla may or jigéen ñi déglu leen de or wala xaalis bu nekk si banque wala sa kalpe wala sa saving te axa yàlla joxuloo ko yàlla bu nekk si or boobu oo xaalis boobu joxuloo ko yawmal qiyaama dañu jël or boobu jël xaalis boobu yooyal ko si biir safara benn yooy ñu flatten ko ba mel ni feer ba pare xàngalaat ko ci biir jahannama paase ko sa kanam wuju jibaaxuhum ak seen kanam yi ak seen saay yi ak seen diggi gannaaw bi di ko paasee every day ba ilaa yawm al qiyama in a time is worth 50,000 years mu am beneen hadis ne képp ku am or wala xaalis nga xam ne yaa ko moom te war faa joxe azaka te joxewuloo ko war faa joxe sarax te joxewuloo ko yowmal qiyaama si sa biir baameel boo dee sa biir baameel yàlla dafaa jël xaalis boobu suppale ko jaan bu ñuul bu rëy mu nekk sa friend si biir baameel lu mu sula ba pare di la maata di la xëcc di la maata naan la hada kinzuka this is your wealth alal bu nga jël denc ko te joxuloo si alal yàlla wala bu nga joxe war a joxe si alal yàlla te joxewuloo ko mooy nii mooy man yàlla moom la def muy man no flyal enjoyal it is your own work.
La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. La ilaha illallah Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Pula siapa bisilo, semua siapa bisalo, paniaka pun dikalo, usai pun dikausalah. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. La ilaha illallah Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
The first question reads, we often hear about scientists going into space, example, going to the moon. So what levels of heaven is that in it? Is it in the first level? Do they go beyond the canopy set for us? Do they go beyond the canopy set for us? That's the first question, Mr. Awan.
Alhamdulillah, that's a beautiful question asked. The Quran has said, يا معشر الجن والإنس إذا استطعتم أن تنفذوا من أقدار السماوات والأرض فانفذوا لا تنفذون إلا بسلطان. O ye assembly of men and jinn, would you like to check it out, like go to the heaven and see what's going on? But you can't do, Allah said, until Allah give you the power to do it. So in effect, this has been said in the Quran that mankind should go to the heaven, and they have actually go to the heaven. Now, this gradation of the heaven, you see, the aircraft that go to the moon, the material that has been used to produce this aircraft is not the same material used for the regular KLM that you go home with. Because if the material that is supposed to penetrate outside the Earth atmosphere, it has to acquire certain level of, something that have to withstand, the speed of light, the magnetic field of the potential. All these things have to come in play. And so, what they do within the 9 planets, outside the 9 planets, into into the galaxy. Our galaxy, like I said, is the Milky Way galaxy, according to Joseph Soul. Once you leave the Milky Way galaxy, you are entering a different dimension. So we believe scientists have not reached the first level already. I mean, within the 7th pole, they are still within the 7, within the first layer. They are still second the first layers. Because to penetrate and go outside the 7th heaven, it is impossible. If you could do it, then you know everything. But Allah said, you can't quantify how great the heaven is. So they are trying their very best. They say they have gone through 15% so far. 85% with all the technology, 85% is yet to be discovered. They have discovered, they have penetrated up to 50%. That's what we're talking about.
Thank you, Mr. Awal. I hope that's a satisfactory answer to the individual who asked that question. The second question reads, the President, thank you very much for your contribution. And he says, or she says, thank you very much. You did talk about different kinds of skin layers. Did this have anything to do with bleaching? What did Islam say about bleaching? Thank you very much.
Silence, please. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's the best that creates. He created the birds. He knows how we are, and He created us to fit in His program. So whatever Allah does is perfect. Now, in Allah's infinite wisdom, He made mankind and He gave others black skin, some have yellow skin, some have red skin. Allah in His wisdom, He does that. And all what He does is perfect. Now, scientifically, if you chemicalize your body, you lose the nerve. The nerve becomes so very, sensitive to certain bacteria, which we don't know. But we want to take the outer part of it. It's beautiful, yes. But if you alter that skin, which Allah has given you, definitely you have removed certain part of the skin that Allah has made consistent with your life. So you are actually giving yourself sickness by allowing certain microbes and bacteria that cannot penetrate in that layer to be able to penetrate. And once you get hurt, if you get hurt or if you burn, they cannot sew it. Even if they sew it, it's going to give you a permanent scar, and that permanent scar will cause a lot of problems as the time goes on. So definitely, bleaching your skin, is not consistent with Allah's creation. Now,
And it's also a confirmation of Shaitan. Shaitan told Allah He will make my change.
Right. That is Shaitan has said in the Quran that He will come from earth's left side, right side, the back, and forward, and make sure that He will alter. But Allah said, "Well, Allah Himself glorified Himself. I have created mankind in the best of mold. So we are in the best of mold. So definitely we have to agree with what Allah has given, inshallah."
Thank you. The next question reads, you seem to agree with the fact that science and Islam are compatible, or agree to some extent that you did explain the principle of intelligence beside an evolution in terms of Islam. It's quite likely. If you need to have further clarification, I guess you can do that.
All right. Well, science and revelation of the Quran have to be compatible, because science is a self-repairing enterprise. Between now and then, the scientists go to laboratory and they come up with hypotheses, and eventually they progress and they discard it, giving way for the next hypothesis. So science is a venture that always changes, but revelation comes from Allah's fountain head of knowledge. It does not change. So if there's any incompatibility with science and religion, it is the science that errs. Science will eventually come, after going around, it will come back and it will be compatible with Islam. That's what Allah said. In huwa illa zikr lil alamin wa la ta'lamunna naba'ahu ba'dahin. This Quran is for the whole of mankind, but they will come to understand the implication of how true the Quran is by changing themselves all the time until eventually it will be the same with Quran. So if these signs in the Quran are not the same, it is the signs that err. Because some years ago, in the 18th century, science said that the earth is flat like a table. Copernicus was the first scientist that came back and said that earth is not actually flat, it is spherical. Spherical is the shape of a football. You know, American football? That is how the earth actually is. The earth is not really round, it is spherical. Like the rugby, the American football, that is how it is. And science have confirmed that. Because at that time when they made that statement, people lived in the center part of Europe. They are afraid if they go out and live as far back as the city, they will fall down into space. Because they think it's flat. And if it is flat, you're going to fall down. But the Quran said, يُكَوِّرُ اللَّيْلَ عَلَى النَّهَارِ وَيُكَوِّرُ النَّهَارَ عَلَى اللَّيْلِ. And the word, we are the one that coil the night over the day, and we call the day over the night. Coil, like a mosquito coil, meaning kawara. Kawara in the lexical Arabic also means the turban. The Arab, they put the kawara to wrap the turban. Meaning the Quran said, يُكَوِّرُ اللَّيْلَ. We are the one that coil the night over the day. Meaning the earth and the heaven, the celestial, is round like an orange. Science proved that in the 18th century. So definitely, if there's any incompatibility in the science that err. And evolution, we believe in evolution, not this kind of evolution of Charles Darwin. The evolution of man. You were young, you become, then eventually you grow. That is, you evolve from one state to another state, but not like Charles Darwin did. I'm reading a book now, Science and the Quran and Evolution. In fact, in about 2 months, 3 months, I should be finished with that book. Then I've explained in details the science and evolution. What is the, dichotomy? What is the real part of our science and evolution? This is a long, it's a broad topic, inshallah. So we'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Mr. Awal. I have been told that some people are eager to hear from Mr. Bojan. And Mr. Bojan, in reply, said it is very important, it is significant for people to be answered with the questions or with the doubts they have. So we're going to address the questions first. Another advice I was given by some of the committee is to have Mr. Awal read the questions himself to expedite it. Okay? So, thank you.
The questioner asked Brother Muhammad Awal, as an Islamic scientist, which I'm not, can you help to educate us about how black person came into existence? As a human being. That is the origin of black. What is the color of the first creation, Adam and Eve? Well, Allah in His wisdom said, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسُ إِنَّا خَلَقْنَاكُم مِّن ذَكَرٍ وَأُنثَىٰ وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِندَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. O humankind, it is I, Allah, who created you from a single pair of male and females, and I make you to nations and tribes so that you will know each other and know how Allah's wisdom is. But the best among you is one who has taqwa, one who is more pious. So the question of color does not come. It is Allah's creation. Allah created yellow, He created blue, black, everything to show His wisdom. Al-Bar, Bar, one of his, his essence, one of his name, is the one who creates things in different forms. So Adam, we don't want to, the moment you begin to put in the back of your mouth, Adam is black. So the Chinese now will say, why is Adam not Chinese? And then the white man says, why is he not white? So we know we came with a single pair of male and female, and this is Adam and Eve. The question of color does not come. It is Allah's creation. But scientifically, if you're going to go deep, it will give you the pigmentation of your skin. Again, it's a different topic which will take about 1.5 hours that I'm going to expand. So we'll leave it at that, inshallah. Well, somebody is asking, if you are sick and you go to a doctor, the doctor administers injection dose, does that affect your fasting? Well, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Again, fasting, injection. Within the injection itself, some of you pharmacists, they understand that the water, the IV and everything, that the content of the chemical that goes into your body, some contain food, some contain sugar, some contain, but Allah make it so easy for you that if you are sick, there's no need for you to fast, not to go to all this complication. Allah have exempt you. If you are sick and you know it's going to be detrimental for your life, Allah have exempted you. So what you do after, you will pay for it. But don't say, I'm going to go, I'm going to get injection. Maybe the injection might cause a lot of blood to come out. Maybe the injection might also complicate you again, give you some kind of complication. So I don't know where to draw the line. But the question is, if you know you are sick, you go to the doctor, Allah have made it so easy for you. If the injection is going to, they're going to give you injection, and maybe they're going to draw your blood. Certain things like this, you have to, inshallah, Allah have made it easy for you. You will drop the person, and you could make it up. Allah knows your intention.
Some questions that come to people is, they are not really sick, but they have an infection that needs antibiotic, medication, and they have to take it 4 times a day.
Okay, well, in that case, you are taking medication.
Yeah.
And if you are taking medication, definitely you don't have to, you are exempted. You don't have to fast. Okay, inshallah, the Sheikh will tell the Sharia part of this question. I've given the certificate. The Sharia part, the Sheikh will deal with it in details for you, inshallah. Now, somebody asked, well, the person wrote his name. I don't need to mention his name, right? The person said, I got my eyesight through organ donor plant. Is it haram for me to be an organ donor? Allah is good. And Allah is good and He makes good things. Now, I don't think Allah, if you have an accident, for instance, and you needed certain part of your, certain part of, plant organ to be implanted for you to be resuscitated, why should that be a problem? After all, you accepted it, so you can see. Now you go and you get and you see. So if they say give blood, I'm not going to give blood. But when you are sick, on the sick bed, getting ready to die, definitely any blood that comes around, you will take it. And so I don't think that have any conflict with, there's no conflict. I don't know, Sheikh might give you more details about that.
I think the rest is Sharia.
Okay, the rest, Sheikh will handle that. So it's not part of Sharia question. I think I've just
Maybe.
inshallah. So,
Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalam ala Rasulillah. Yeah, the scientific one said this is it seems like most of them are Sharia. No, I'm going to answer that. This is more important. You're addressing the mind. Alhamdulillah. Yeah. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. We, inshallah, we will continue. We help the Sheikh. May Allah reward him and give him a long life and strengthen his iman and, mashallah, give him more knowledge. Because he's addressing an area that many of us are totally ignorant about. And we don't know the value of the book we have. Now, we have no idea of the value of the books we have. Maybe if we know that, all these things that will become impressive about, excuse the language, white man, discovered is that it's already been mentioned in the Quran 1400 years plus ago. Maybe also we will start being very impressive about Quran and the book we have, this book, the Word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Helping the Sheikh on the first question regarding the sick and injection, on the Sharia side, it is okay to do injection when you're fasting. Since it's not going through your throat, the normal passage of food and drink, it is okay. Even though what he said, the scientific, it is a food and it may, get to the part of the body that, do the same thing, the food that went to the throat. But this is part of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has made for us, and it's part of the rosa, almost unanimous between the ulama, that injection is okay. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to do hijama when he was fasting, and hijama is curing the body with using a knife, cut, I don't know the name in English, but you cut the part of the body and try to absorb the blood through heat, through a glass or cup, and remove the bad blood. Used to do when he was fasting. The amount of the blood is okay if it did not reach certain, amount of blood. So inshallah, regarding the organ donor, this is a disputed area between the scholars. But almost it is unanimous between the scholars that donating organs in Islam is haram. Donating organs in Islam is haram. The human body is not a spare part, what they call it. Tell me the mechanic. Spare part shop. Yeah, you need a tire, you go buy a tire. You need a engine, you go get an engine. You can't treat a human being like that. The ayah he mentioned, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ, we have indeed honored, dignified, and respected the human being. It is dead or alive. It is dead or alive. However, lately there's some part is made okay by the ulama to be given of the body, such as blood, donation of the blood, and some circumstances, the kidneys. Now, in the extreme emergency and extreme need, but it's not like the system that we have in the West here, that you can register your name as a spare part, shop, organ donor. When you die, immediately they will just rip your body open and just cut your body up and down and take everything, and just go and sell it, and make money with it. And well, yeah, with that is not okay in Islam. I have two questions. How did Islam see about organ donor? I think we did that. With the other question here. Credit card with or without interest. Credit card without interest is halal. Now, credit card without interest is halal. Credit card with interest, unanimously between the scholars of Islam, is haram. It is haram because it's riba. It's riba. And riba is one of the most deadliest sins in Islam. That, just take you out completely, and dip you in hellfire, quicker than any other sin. And it's so much, punishment that Allah has promised those who deal with riba. And we have seen, unfortunately, nowadays, people make riba so easy. Now, so easy with the excuses, well, you know how it is, we are in a kuffar country. We are in America. The system is not based on Islam. And if you don't use their system, you will never own a house. You will never own nothing. Well, you don't have to own nothing. You don't have to. As a sheikh came from Senegal and opened my eyes that it is riba. I was confused about it for, a minute until the sheikh came from Senegal. I'll never forget him, from Kaula. And I went to him and I explained to him the whole thing. And he told me, look, I will never buy or own a house or anything until I die. And before my death, I will make sure that I call my children and advise them and instruct them never to own nothing on the face of this earth. And I instruct them also before the death of their children, which is his grandchildren, to make sure that they inform them that if that is the only way to own piece of America, like they call it, then don't own nothing. Die like that. Rent the rest of your life and die, and inshallah come so we can be together in Jannah. So we don't have time in this line of questions, but if not, we would have gone through more in this riba, and it's devastating. It's a serious problem that people made it very easy. And riba is no other sin like riba, because no other sin, Allah said, the person who committed to go ahead and declare war between him and Allah. Only riba. And one single drop of a dime of a riba is more sinful than having a sexual act with your own mother. It's a hadith. It's a very serious thing. Now, it's a very serious thing. And all these problems with the society is in today, all this stress is because of the system of riba. If the system of riba is removed today, believe me, you will not have to do 2 jobs. You don't have to do 2 jobs. It is unjust. It is unfair system. And if you took one or all of your parents to make a hajj, and before yourself do it, and then you die, I guess, what is Sharia's ruling on that? Well, you need to make a hajj before you take anyone to hajj. But when it comes to your parents, and they are old, of course, and you're afraid that they may not make it, then you're obligated to take them before you take yourself. Take the parents. And if you die, alhamdulillah, Allah will write you a hajj, inshallah. Yeah. Well, you make the announcement. I like to go through questions because you are addressing people's concern. I can sit here and talk a whole hour and it's not touching none of your concerns. But now people are, I like this. This is the best part in any conference I go to. Okay. What does Islam say about married women, I guess, who use contraceptives or their or cut, not? Tell me something.
What does Islam say about married women who use contraceptives or cut their cords, not to bear children? That is.
Okay. The Prophet ﷺ said, تزوج الولود الهنوم إني مفاخر بكم الأمم يوم القيامة. Married the women that are walud, can give birth, pious, and can make babies. Because in the day of judgment, I will be proud of my ummah's number in front of the other nations. And Islam, does not believe in the system that is set by the West. That, more people, more difficulty, in terms of feeding them and all that. And that is not true. That is not fact. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمَا مِن دَابَّةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا وَعَلَى اللَّهِ رِزْقُهَا يَعْلَمُ مُسْتَقَرَّهَا وَمُسْتَوْدَعَهَا كُلٌّ فِي كِتَابٍ مُبِينٍ. There's no human being or a creature, anything created by Allah, and everything is created by Allah, unless and except it is on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to feed and to bring the sustenance and take care of that person or that animal. Allah said He knows مستودعها مستقرها ومستودعها. I know exactly its location, above the earth or below the earth. There are some creatures that live under the ground. I know their location and I know exactly their need. Not what they want to. They want too much. Their need. And Allah said, Ma min dabba. There's none except Allah made it obligatory that He will feed you. That He will feed you. And they said one day Sulaiman alayhi salam was, the Prophet Sulaiman was praying near the lake. And he saw an ant moving towards the lake, and inside the mouth of the ant a green leaf. And he speaks their language. When he saw that, he was watching the ant, and then the ant reached the source of the water, the border, and a big frog came from the water, opened its mouth, and the ant went inside the mouth of the frog, closed its mouth, and went inside deep lake. After a few minutes, Sulaiman stopped his prayer, and he says, I'm about to witness one miracle of Allah. Allah wants to show me something. After a time, the frog popped out down from the water, opened his mouth, and the ant walked out, and no green leaf. Sulaiman said, hold a second, ant. What's going on here? He said, well, I'm finished with my job. He said, what is your job? He said, my job is to take the food to one of the creations of Allah. Under the bottom of this water, there's a rock. Inside of that stone, there's a creature of Allah that worships Allah, that says, Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. And Allah, because of that, Allah granted for that ant inside of that rock, that Duda, his sustenance. And he says to him, okay, what is that frog? He said, one of the angels of Allah. You call it a submarine. So if that ant inside the rock, deep inside the water, only says Subhanallah, one thing only. And because of that, Allah was pleased to a degree that He granted for that ant his sustenance, his daily food. How about you who pray 5 times a day and say Subhanallah, Astaghfirullah, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar? Do you think Allah will not take care of you? Allah will take care of you. If you believe in Allah and you put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will feed you. We did not come to America from Gambia or Nigeria or any other world country because we starving to death. We're not starving to death in Gambia. We just came here to gain a little bit so-called American dream. So Islam doesn't believe in that. But at the same time, Islam doesn't have, it's not haram for you to, if you reach certain, to have a number, said, okay, I want 4 children, I want 3 children, I want 5 children. And after you reach that, you start having a baby. Islam doesn't have a problem with that. During the Sahabas, Ridwanullahi ta'ala alayhim, during the time of the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they used to use, the same system like condoms today, but they used to have, sexual intercourse with their wife, and when it's time for them to release themselves, they just pull out the woman. So they used to do that. So Islam didn't have a problem with that, but they said it's haram if you're afraid that you will not be able to feed them. It becomes haram. But if you want a few children, so you'll be able to educate them, take care of them and all that, that's not haram, that's not against Islam. But to stop your system from making babies, and you don't have babies, that's haram in Islam. And if a woman, and today, especially in America, unfortunately, this woman dunya love in this life, we see a lot of sisters today having problems with their husbands. They don't want to have babies because they're doing 2 jobs, job and a half, 16 hours a day, 12 hours a day, working like a dog, making money. Husband don't see it, nobody, Islam don't see it, you know, because then your car, you know what I mean? That's all taking their money. And Duffy, you know, all that gold called Duffy, you know. Not all of them, you know what I mean? And they don't want to have babies because they don't want to lose the house and the amount of money they make. So they become part-time wives and lose everything regarding rewards about a marriage institution. Marriage and family institution, that's another whole gamble here. That's a whole other program here. And I wish we had a time to go through it because it's one of the biggest problems every state I go to. Marriage and family is about Jannah. It's about heaven. It's about paradise. It's about pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's about ensuring the continuation of, you know, the human gene, you know, and the human life on the face of earth, which means the continuation of those who say La ilaha illallah. Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is part of the principles of marriage to make babies. So, if it's that, it's haram. But nothing wrong, you have few children, 3, 4, 5, and then you decided that, alhamdulillah, you have a life too. You know what I mean? You have a life too. You want to enjoy your life and you want to take care of your children, not food-wise, but education, and which is becoming very expensive nowadays. You know, Islam doesn't have a whole lot of problem with that. What about a person who cannot pay his
what about the person who cannot pay his job?
This country law,
somebody who filed for bankruptcy and is dead, didn't pay his loans or whatever they owe.
loan is a loan. Loan is a loan, either for non-Muslim or for Muslim. Loan is a loan. You know, if you cannot pay the loan, go to them, talk to them, see if they can work a payment plan for you, see if they can release you from your debt. And if not, you didn't find ways, you know, to pay that loan. Because if you owe money and you did not pay it, Prophet ﷺ, you know, he usually don't even want to make salat. He used to ask, is this that person has loan? And they say, yeah. I mean, anybody want to pay for him on his behalf? If no, he said, well, go ahead and pray for your dead body. And there's two companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One day, they were sitting in a gathering of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet, and they heard the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, you know, be careful of what you do because it's presented on your loved ones that die. Your parents and all that, they will say, well, Mahmoud and Ahmad, and this is what you do. When somebody died, if it's a good road that made it to paradise, he will be in the company of those who are living in that area. And if they know them, they will go to them and ask them, how is my son? How is my daughter? How is my wife? How is this and that? And if they tell them that they're doing good in Islam, they're happy. And if they're not doing good, they become sad. They even shy even to come out in the general public to hang with the remaining of the souls. Yeah. And they're two friends. And they said, okay, ta'ahada. They said, let's make a contract and agreement here. If any one of us die first, make sure your soul come and visit the other one in the dream and tell him what happens. So they said, okay. So one of them died, and then one of them died, and then, you know, the other one consciously was waiting, you know, waiting for the soul to visit him in the dream and tell him what he went through. And it was like that for a year, for 3, the soul never appeared in a dream. And one night, Chef, the soul appears in the dream. And they said to him, man, I've been waiting for 2-3 years. Why didn't you come to visit me? He said, man, I could not. They were just done with me yesterday. They were just done with me yesterday. He said, what happened? He said, well, they checked everything. Everything was okay, except I owed to one person $1 dinar, $1. And Allah refused to allow my soul to be placed in the, holding place before the paradise, the barzakh, which is, mashallah, it's still not like paradise, but it's better than the other side. You know what I mean? It's hanged at the door until that dollar is paid on my behalf. And he said to his friend in the dream, he said, please go to my wife, tell her that I have that dollar, I was going to give it to the person, and I forgot to take it. And I said, well, it was Salatul Zuhr, and I said, wait until Salatul Asr, and before Asr he died. I have the intention to pay him, but it's still, I could not make it, but it's still Allah didn't take it as an excuse. Now, and go to my wife. Morning, he went to his wife, the dead wife. Now, this is for our sisters in this land. Now, listen to good woman here now. He went to his wife. He said, hey, I know you want to believe it or not, but your husband came to me last night in his dream, and he told me he has $1 under his pillow. He left it there. It belongs to so-and-so. He was going to pay him, but he forgot, and he said he'd do it Salatul Asr, and he died before Asr time. The wife said, yeah, you're right. I found $1 in a place that's not usually where he hides his money. I knew that he was planning to do something about it. I kept it in the side until I hear something about that money.
3 years.
3 years. Yeah, 3 years. Today, they will run to the Macy's right there. I mean, before they even put you in the ground. Not all of you. You have Macy's here? Hey, Macy's. Yeah. Or they even take it and buy some raw, to cook some bacon and do that for 40 days. Yeah. And he took the $1 and he gave it back to the guy. Then the next day, the roof appeared again. He said, thank you. Now I'm happy. I'm chilling now. They let me in. So, loan is a loan. If you cannot pay it, you cannot pay it. But if you can pay, we have this attitude here. People go and take credit card, take money, blow it, buy new cars, gold, big furnitures, leather furnitures and all that, and then talk about it as bankruptcy. Bankruptcy what? It's not chapter 11 after. It will be 11 whipping on you. Okay. This country law requires me to carry insurance. In Islam, should it be okay to just have liability or full coverage? Thank you. Well, that's a very good question. Unanimously between ulama, the scholars of Islam, insurance is haram. All forms of insurance is haram except the one the government made it obligatory on you to have. Like what? Vehicle insurance, and also the health insurance, because it's a matter of life and death situation. Now, if you squeeze in the corner that you're not intended no evil or no, seeking no pleasure of dunya or try to, make money and enjoy life, Allah said that's okay. So besides that, every insurance is haram, especially an insurance called life insurance. You're dead and you want to take care of business behind you. Yeah. Make dua for this young man, inshallah, he has to go. And we relax, appreciate him. I'll talk to you, inshallah. Okay. We're back with this birth control. I used the number 3 or 4 children, 5. That's just a number from me. It's not stated in the Sharia that 3 or 4 number is okay. I'm just giving an example. You want to have X numbers of children. It's not haram in Islam if you want to have X numbers of children. Hence, it's not, the reason is not that you are afraid to feed them. Unanimous between the scholars, if it's you're afraid because you cannot feed them, okay, it becomes haram. But it's not that, it is not haram. It is not haram to start having children because of, any other reason. That's what I understand from different fiqhs and mazahib of the ulama. If it is for that you're afraid that you cannot feed them, it's haram. The Sahabas, they used to do something called wija. Wija is about control. Either you develop system now, they have something to wear, or you inject yourself, before you discharge. It's the same birth control, and it was not made haram by the Prophet ﷺ. But the problem is, to follow the system of, this new un-Islamic way of life system. That's what made haram. That bottom line, that is so many people in the world, and it's the difficulty of food and all that stuff, and also part of it also they just want to lower the numbers of Muslims. While there are millions, 200, 300 millions, they want to minimize it. And Muslims need to be very aware of that. But لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. That's the system in Islam. Allah will not put a burden upon any soul that you can handle. If you, afraid that, you are weak, you cannot have a baby, you may die, you may be sick, or simply you just don't want to have more babies. Islam don't have a problem. If the reason behind it is not that you're afraid to feed them. That's what I understand, inshallah. Alhamdulillah. That's why I'm going to spend the rest of the time. Alhamdulillah. 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 Yo, say inshallah. Oh, my cousin is here. She's looking at me. You don't speak money?
A little bit.
You will today.
Mix one of your usual way.
Yeah. Okay. How should you pay for fast you missed during Ramadan while you were pregnant? Ibela sumo jono la nyadi le sunkwere sumo tilo mu yedam o karo mu yedam tara kono bela bu fekke yaangi umbo di expect naka nga mëna fayé sa Ramadan bes bo demé do wosin be pare before next Ramadan kan ko wara fay bu fekke nampal bi du affect nampal bi bu fekke du affect nampal bi then the Quran say, if you can affect Nampali, there's a different opinion between Quran Muhammad. I'm not going to have Dundal Miskin. Now, this one like a better Miskin. I'm not going to have the Quran food, but anytime when I'm going to have Nampali, then I say, but Allah Alam is a different opinion between ulama, but we can ask that, my name, the feet of Paul. A jonya walam ko ni iwulu ta fay pare natara isa jono andam ati susundiro ni patandila dina no patandila susuala keke la karola den isa jo wa anta sumu khairun lakum in kuntum ta'lamun alayhi ka sum wala fasiya sum baliya hanna tara ye roksa soba pour kana sun ba nakare ci sunno ala ko wala be tan nakara ya lo mo ne sunno to ba nakara naka am susundro avec la nak abdenano avec la then if I see miskino, balu, don't go, say balu for susu ndiro kola, balu so don't be susu ndiro kola is a from a so don't be la balu be kasu. Ako bali mo kamu solam. My question here, in line to when question, English.
My question focuses on the marriage of women in this country. Most of us did marry these people because it's the only way to go back home. What can we do for it not to affect our religion? You are obligated to answer.
Okay, I will answer. The answer is simple. It is haram. There is a white woman or black woman or Jamaican woman. Marriage is meant to please Allah. Marriage is an institution designed by Allah, divinely inspired by Allah. Okay? So, it is haram. If you marry for Allah and you get green card, alhamdulillah. That's what marriage is for, to help each other. So, in a car, wala ko katiba muso futu pour kayde ko haram futu o mula fannati mu yalla ko pour ka ala nyaani mi la ko dala mu yalla ko ala le tam ala le ya lo loi de ko je ala le ya be green card ala ka pamela green card ko passport so do amen wo ma ke tan mu yalla ko silo ala ya yo ko kanda ma ke ko sayane balu kula isi murno gambe e fala bari bitum dalta punya mun na gando you understand?
The question is reciting Surah Al-Ikhlas. Is it a sunnah to recite Surah Al-Ikhlas? Well, there are 4 strokes here. I don't know whose question is this, but 111 times. 1,111, okay. I was confused about that, sorry. On this day, somebody told me to do that tonight, and this is new to me.
And one thing, Surah Al-Ikhlas is a very good surah. It's a very good surah. It's a very powerful surah in the whole Quran. Actually, Surah Al-Ikhlas represents the whole Quran. Represents the whole Quran. There's no doubt that reading Surah Al-Ikhlas is excellent and it's very good. Okay? But it is, I did not see in any authentic sunnah or even fake sunnah that we should read Surah Al-Ikhlas today, specifically for today, Lailatul Qadr, the Lailatul Qadr day. Aisha radiallahu anha asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if I happen to, be alive and attend the Lailatul Qadr, what should I say? And he replied to her and said, Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. Oh my Lord, innaka afuun, you are most forgiving, most merciful. Lord, forgiveness, please forgive me. Please forgive me. The other thing that I wanted to explain regarding numbers. Be very careful when it comes to numbers. When you read this X amount of time, you will get this. 99.9% of hadith, a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so-called hadith, state that is fabricated. Most of the fabricated hadith located in that area. And it's very, very, very common in Gambia and West Africa. 1,000 times, 700 times. There's nothing in the Sunnah called 1,000 times. There's nothing in the Sunnah called 700 times and this, that, and that. The only thing mentioned in authentic hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said, he would say astaghfirullah every day 100 times. 100 times. And that the number is not even, meant by him that is a magic number. If you will get this amount of time, you will get this and Allah will forgive you for this. Most of it all fabricated hadith. Now, fabricated hadith, and it's mostly used by those who practice Sufism, not the Sunnah, practicing Islam. Allah. Time, don't go near Kulwala Karani, don't know Fenna Miano, for Fenna Mubaya. Now, one time they want to go below. Now I say, Kila Salasam in a Kakai go. Lailatul Qadr Seattle. Minyatamuna Karana, Nyantamuna Duafa. Akaka fo, Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. Mario itamu yam for mansorti, yam for kun kanule, yam for na kujawal. Akaka karu fo. Fona kuwa ya jumano khutba fulo tema ika koje. Barka kurwala mfambali. Alqur'ano bebe kurwala barka ko ka karambilo maji hadiso maji dalilo. Anafana asana filo kubake ka foko neni karan wati kar da adan nangam newa je dawada gam nyama korala because aman saha aman saha yakara sufi kuzin fanko da kono bae bara man sunna kono kila sallallahu alaihi wasallam saha hadith wa wala kusinya ken aka fa astaghfirullah.
The next question is, explain how both Muslim men and women should wash janaba.
Inshallah, what we will do, that's a very important question, but inshallah, the person who asked that question, inshallah, we can delay. Maybe I can give them a phone number and explain that because maybe there's more, it's an important question, but maybe let's delay that, inshallah. I think we have time now. We explain it, inshallah. That's a good question. A lot of people don't even want to hear janaba. But did you say janaba or death? Oh, janaba, excuse me. I thought you said fureku. No, janaba is very good. Okay, janaba. Lonna le yo sama akuole. It's a tuno sama komante. Mukega hadis dantana le nata janaba kuola. So muni hadis so muta, and doli hadis dol muta. So jamaya mai ka ko kom ba ka so mun fala kaseto do don kabla ne ba kaseto do ko jamaya mai ka fala ko to nyama ne ba wato do to nyaka ke fulati. So the base haka kilim be janaba koto wonan ko ni naka nin boro be bulu jio ba kono o tasallo o sio jio ba kono ise fere ke ya la mandi ye bulo ku sinya saba jandi be bulo do de la jio and before ibn ngani yon sitila intention ngani yon sitila na way ko gusto janaba ngano sibi pour ka janaba ku ngano na lo na be d'accord ko abe sondo mono ko abe sisolo ko amantara da so ni mistake ka dato ila janaba ko ti betiala ila sanjo fana ti betiala but natara isa hata sondo mo ko no but you don't mistake ka ata affect because at a location and a plan sondo mo ko then you will go back to sinyasa you will go the hadith fulala mainly hadith Maimuna radiyallahu anha and then hadith Aisha radiyallahu anha.
Thank you. To wrap it up, we have Mr. Ustaz Al-Hadi Sise, who is one of the members of our community, that is our parent. He is going to contribute talking about tradition and Islam in Mandinka. And after that, we will give a closure. We will end this program. So Mr. Alayi Sise wants to give you some few words about Islam and tradition. Thank you.
Thank you, Murinjay. وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى الدين. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله خير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة كل ضلالة في النار نعوذ بالله من ذلك. Barang jauh angin barang suruh. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kawan lalu Mr. Bojan Muhammad Awal kawan lalu Fanalia Kejadian Koftaja. Ya, bela film video. So, mandate bela debe fefe role karakter. Na kata bagai so, modifies na close. So, lalu na follow wo file Mr. Bojan ayo apa ni? Walau tradisional yang ala kata ala kita wala misalnya ni tola ado yang so benyali. Ni ado yang otak terjalan jadi Islam kana. So, telephone na lagi kalam may roti Islam ni traditional orang na culture ni Islam kiri kila ali sallallahu alaihi wasallam nata wala kita kiro dumela neita mo be mendo ka bonda do kolom saboya traka kola so wayatina ado ni kiri Islam na amma be ko ni mo bulu men Islam ay ado do di culture ni awul tubul But jama bantu dia ada ko wani society la hada mati ala nyan ko hada mati ala punya no manta. So Islam ado temperament ni hada mati ala dignity ala punya eman no ta ayo ban aku mo le obra. Pero problem ada problem mo ado mena yam dia mo kili mena ala golbe benefit wala ka ila punya ni la golbe depend wala kam wala na de ipala. So kita kira problem modal dan lemuati. So Islam itu ke jamal juga. Ini tahu dah Islam majority ya kau lihat juga kalau consider. So modal dan lebih basic wo benefit wala ke benefit wo culture jina. Culture itu ada berarti ada punya form mata. Any religion. Ana bagi Islam ada mata. Dia juga it's common sense. Dia apa? So Islam itu ya anak apa? Anu wo del pije. So Islam ko ale Islam story that menya na ona da preo so kelonya na be for that kila ala life or entire life ninga jibe kila ya prophet na the messenger 23 years So 23 years on Yadi by 13 years out of Makkah. So 13 years will be Kelon that focusing only for Modia and culture, other Mendo, Adobula, Ade Alakit, just Alakit Drum. In a problem, for culture in Bula, so Satan is about the who knows about the regime. At the end, in another fight, we're going to kick you out. So that's what they did. Yeah, the moment of putting the by pressure like another putting other sign. Even my great later, Madina, tomorrow, also longer. Any other who will be like Dinoniba, Pasara, Sonema, and they will come. And indeed, that's what they did. Ansar will make the Madina call. Ikila welcome and welcome. So, one another had to be a problem of the Government Society content. Ningaju had an adult technique. Islam well came Misal Kemo. I slowly tell the Misal being at the solo Granani, Wadu Suka Solo Sumo Wadu Sida, and then the Tidulia Mare Salon Kete is Sajina Kamala, Kebal Atun and the Malatin. So, but ni nara juga na adult tu ani na kul sampai tu ani oya malu na new tu kan awal ta tinya kerana so okamala Islam atemu dengan bermain longgo punya ada adung anada tempat dia berat nada tempat dia punya awal punya kafulnya ayah usaha jana dengan usaha yang terkena menyam Kerol yang terkini kabilul kapoi kabilul naik kenyok kerol ke kabilul ini semua orang itu berada kabilul dokumen 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 dari Islam orang dari Islam. So kalau nggak punya ada modal dalam ini kebenaran itu kena sifat lah, boleh kalau aduh kau orang nak pulang, ni boleh nak pun jamaah tu pulang lah, because kau yang belu. So amat aku Islam ini atuh tidak ada aku antirinta atau sebenarnya ini ka another Jamar is still a many along responsible Lamodi and finding in the Dubai, Hakul Manin Betema, Hakul is a door for our board, himself and Ningatrabo, follow Mr. Bojan, Alpha, family Ninka, Form Yama, follow Muscato in the Wanda, Musopana, Kendo, Musodama. Musopana, Kome Alongo, and I see no one along by Dinata, Kila Hadisolo. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam aku tukau al-mar'ah tukau al-mar'ah li-jamaliha wa li-nasabiha wa li-hasabiha wa li-diniha kalau ada mana aku fadfuru bi-dhati din kila hadisu aku ikamusu fudu kunalikan isu-musu fudu ala-minyakan wala al-kabilu al-bidya wala al-falafu wala al-dino para al-dino inyata wala fulunya nikah so exactly opposite mana is correct musuh mana ini Hanya dari jauh kenalai dino lagi kala jadi malam kelas kenala lepas educational juga lah. Melalui koji voluntary knowledge juga lah bulu. Awal boleh begini. Ini adalah dino lagi kala follow yo long. Ukola orang alfa yang pernah yo di coba follow lepas semua yo kamu ini. Hanya kalau ada sifat tertentu. Hanya kalau dulu je untuk ada follow. Ni isai jadi follow ni. Futunya sudah halo ni kau silo ni Islam apa nyama. Kenapa sudah futu ni kau? Malu Allah le malu kau wala ko kacang kemau mana orang ko isi thate wala isi kola problem ko. Amada saya dulu naus Islam usul benda ini. Langkau lakulah. Andung nimbang perlu nama. Mau perlu kan problemnya ada kefukulah. Antara lalu, pada hari ini ada yang besar dengan kerajaan, dengan juga walaupun tidak orang ni alfa cemo, ada urusan cemo, link member cema, ketua apa kena, yo orang dua ni, tidak kan menyama, dua ni ala dua kurangnya, ni mau versi kita ni saja, pada kuda ala alfa tu. So dia juga walaupun ni perlu menyama, silo, dino apa menyama, walaupun alita. Dulu dino apa nyama ni dimon yang ukul ukan menyama ini dia ukul ala apa nyama yo silo ikan dalam menyama kalau ulul kan ululnya so Amerika cewa nyama kalau ulul respect ulul nyama di modo guru kan di modo kare sesuatu jamaah kafon kai di benda kalau guru kalau guru jam ada juga so jangan ini dengan sesuatu juga kan ke opposite company nya juga ni aku sondai TV bisa ada dua bisa ada gue kedua tak apa olah apa so mereka sabu silo lebih ni alongo kenapa dia di tanah puka bindung yang perlu silo ni kan silo ni wala mantra society mantra wala tanah ni kan wala problem so dulu nya tak kena satu dulu alhamdulillah boleh men so dulu dah bismillah kono yo de nya daw dino ni way silo me landi ida na society ko na tra problem wala ko problem ni ne islam ni jube na jube ko mo problem mo na sa ni a jube ba jala ko dino ye men controle wala mantra society ko saya ni te na wuro society ko ida na dino ni ko a o kere ko terlibat because yo ko na male ta da ini ada tu malam tuan tu kau ini fungsi apa ni mau pada malam so orang benda itu wajah ni so orang purunya ini mang silo yang malu kita ada tu meter dah lebih kurang so saya ini alhamdulillah itu puru silo ini orang melayu tu nya ini dah ada yang dino yang pula cakap yang malam oh kami pernah mention kerana kita mungkin kami yang punya nyawa itu orang karampungan yang kenya yang punya nyawa mal ko ni ka nyama mo be jamana ko mo jay ko la ni se do sudo ni tilo wuro ma ko kan ne kara mo ni be fresh na nyama alfonso na nyama cross kamo nyama so ko je ya ban ko mo ko di tila akadula ka do dawal ko ala leila mari itla hamo me di no ida ala ya tebra di la mo ide men so do yo di e ba ate ni la ka ni di ko me di no ni wo ka mo di no ala be di do so kumoja taja mpondela bali ponya wewe kumoja mpira so assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh